welcome to the Cutting Chai Stories, a series that serves as an edutainment platform for engaging virtual conversation and discussion from leaders from diverse industries. Today, I have a very special guest with me, Ms. Jaya Jagadish, Country Head at AMD India and SVP Silicon Design Engineering at AMD. She comes with an experience of almost 2 decades in the industry, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot to learn from her today. Thank you so very much, Ms. Jagadish, for joining us. What a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Well, as we get into conversation right here, let me start at the very beginning and actually ask you that, if you go back to your school, your college days, what is that one instance that you can remember that sort of helped you build that foundation and really make you the person that you are today?
Well, a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Bangalore, so I'm a total Bangalorean. My upbringing is from a regular middle class family where there was a lot of emphasis on hard work and academia. I mean, for us, going to school, studying well, getting, the top marks was hugely important. So I think my family background plays a very big role in who I am, the choices I made, right? And my family also has a lot of doctors, engineers, and scientists. So I think that's what really inspired me to take STEM education or pursue STEM as my career choice. And the choice was kind of easy. While I see many students kind of struggle on, oh, what should I do? I love doing this. I love doing that. For me, there was always a focus on science and doing well in academics. So I guess I consider myself fortunate to have that background. In terms of influence, right? I think I can talk about my mother, who has been a huge influence and also support, right? She hails from rural, Karnataka, never had the opportunity to continue her education beyond 10th grade, but she actually had the courage to dream big for her only child, a daughter, right? And she wanted to give the best of opportunities to her daughter. And, she persuaded my dad to move from the village to Bangalore just to make sure I get access to, top quality education. I think the sacrifices and their aspirations is something I always wonder, wow, that is really thinking big, a daughter and that too only child, and making sacrifices for her education. I think that's a story to be told as an inspiration. So I think that's really what I look at when I look back. I mean, I have such an enriched background and opportunity that my family provided, and I want to do the same thing going forward, while I'm passionate about, encouraging more and more students to pursue STEM. Proud to say my daughter too has picked STEM as her field and is a doctor. So I'm kind of playing the role that my mother played to me for my daughter. I mean, she's a doctor pursuing her fellowship in Duke University. So something that I take a lot of pride in the background that we have created.
It's amazing to hear that story, and I'm sure that it's going to influence a lot of our viewers right here. And that is what sort of takes me to my next question, especially because you did mention how you've had a childhood where you got so many more opportunities. So it's also about the right timing. It's also about being in the right place at the right time. And here I'd like to ask you, so is life really all about hard work, or has luck and the right timing also played a big role in your life?
Well, I'd like to believe it's a lot of hard work. And of course, I think hard work also paves way to luck. The courageous always the luck sides the courageous or the brave, right? So I would say it's definitely hard work, but being there at the right place at the right time does play a role. Where there are opportunities being discussed and you happen to be there, you happen to raise your hand and you happen to take that on. So some people call it luck. I would say being there at the right time, at the right place, and actually having that courage to sign up for something, to take on something. I mean, I have rarely let go of opportunities or extra work or more work because I do feel more than looking at anything as, oh my God, there's another task that I'm assigned to, it's an opportunity. It's a window that gets created that allows you to move forward. So I think hard work and also prioritizations, right, help you a lot. What should be your highest priority work, because many times you're torn between multiple priorities, and how you prioritize, how you kind of decide to take those opportunities forward, I think makes a lot of things really work. And luck is, of course, I mean, how you look at it. For me, it's always been hard work, but of course it has paved way to sometimes luck, as people
Right.
call it.
Well, you did speak about how one must never shy away from doing that extra job or putting in that extra effort. And that is indeed a very, very important attribute when it comes to a leader or someone who aspires to be a future leader. So, here I'd also like to ask you, and a great way for all our viewers to learn from you, what do you feel are the very important factors or attributes that a leader must really have?
Yeah. So you are a leader because you're leading someone. I mean, there is a team behind you. You should never forget that, right? I mean, you're called a leader because you're leading someone. So that someone who's following you, you have to listen to that someone, right? Your team, and how you listen to them, how you actually take on problems and find solutions, right? These are very, very important factors. And you can you should also have the courage to change your decisions if it really comes to it, right? So there are three probably attributes that, or maybe four. Another one is influencing without authority. Not all the times you need a danda or a stick to kind of beat up people to listen to you. You should, as a leader, provide that kind of a presence where people really look up to you, and they kind of feel the need to follow you. You should create that aura about you, or you should stand for such things. So listening to your team, influencing without authority, being open to changes, and not letting go of challenges for the fear of failure. I think these are some of the very important traits that have truly helped me grow as a leader as well.
Some very, very interesting traits mentioned by you here. And that really does make me ask the question that, do you really think that when building a team, and you did speak about a few points which you feel help you create that perfect team, do you think competition within the team is healthy? And if so, why do you feel?
I mean, it is important more than, you have to have a healthy competition within the team, because one thing is technology is evolving at a very rapid pace. And then we cannot just say, oh, I learned this a few years ago and I'm good to go. There's a constant need to kind of upgrade ourselves, upskill ourselves in this world to be relevant. And
Right.
then we have a lot of youngsters who come in and who feel they kind of know everything, right? So it's more of creating an environment where they are inspired to learn from each other, and where they challenge each other without being disruptive. Sometimes competition, when you create, when people are not as mature, it can sometimes become disruptive. So it's really up to the leadership to provide that oversight and create a competition where it's healthy and constructive. I mean, I can give you an example of what we did with our debug team. I mean, there was a team which was pretty junior, and then but somehow the work was perceived as not so interesting. It's to really debug some of the failures, and people just were more interested in coding. So we kind of what we did was we created a team with young engineers, and we kind of assign tasks. Say, hey, you debug 5 failures a week, and then anything more, it's a bonus for you. You get extra credit. So this kind of created with a bunch of youngsters in the room, it created a buzz. Oh, okay, I debugged 5 today. How many did you debug? So it kind of created a healthy competition. But of course, we were more than happy to see people actually wanting to enter the team and join the team and do the work. So it created a healthy environment where people were competing to see who debugged the most. And we used to have like an award ceremony end of the month saying, hey, this guy gets the highest debugger award. whatever. So it's really healthy if done properly in a good way.
Right. So we make sure that we have healthy competition within the team. And, you did mention how you work with young minds, and it's very difficult to keep them motivated at all times.
Yeah.
How is it that you and your team manage to do it?
More than what we are doing, I think the technology is helping us in a big way. I mean, we are truly at an inflection point where there is so much that's changing, and it's truly an alternate world that we can create with the new technology. So, with the rapid change in technology or evolution, there is so much to do, so much to learn, and so much to adapt. So honestly, this is the right time for these young minds to apply themselves to the industry or what's happening with the technology. And believe me, there won't be a second of boredom here. I mean, you're constantly, looking at new things to learn and actually adapting and applying what you learn into your products. So it's extremely busy time for everyone.
So really evolving with times there. But you did
Absolutely.
mention earlier on how listening is really a trait that helps you in life. So when I say who's your friendly ear, who do you feel has given you one of the best professional advice ever that
Yeah.
has changed the way you lead?
Sure. I've been very fortunate because I've always found people around me who have kind of mentored me or coached me or even inspired me in many ways. I mean, I talked about my family and my mother earlier, who is still continuing to play a very important role. And on the professional side, I think I've been very fortunate to have leaders like our own CEO, Dr. Lisa Su, who has been my mentor for about 7 years now. And I think, I can't call her my friendly ear. I mean, I have a lot of respect, and, she's our CEO. But what I have learned from those mentoring sessions have truly helped me change my perspective on many things. It's given me that confidence. Yes, I'm a good leader, I'm a good engineer, I can achieve something. And on the piece of advice, I think, over the years, of course, people have mentored me. I've got a lot of good coaches who have given me valuable nuggets of advice. But two things that stand out was one that I received from Jim Keller, who is an iconic CPU architect and was my boss for a few years at AMD.
Right.
One thing he told me was how to earn a seat at the table in your peer group. I mean, you can't, your bosses might listen to you, or you will align to your bosses, your teams will align naturally to you. But the peer group is something that's so important to build the relationship. And you have to invest, you have to give something to earn that relationship. I mean, that was a very valuable piece of advice. And another one that I received from our CTO, Mark Papermaster, was there was a crisis situation. We had to make some very difficult situations. And it was also a very emotional time for me and my teams because we'd worked very hard on something and things were changing. So one thing he said, look, this is not the time to play on your emotions. I mean, you have to look at data to make the right decisions. I understand the emotions. And as human beings, we can't get rid of them completely, but focus on data for your decisions. Don't rely on your emotions. I think that piece of those two pieces of advice I keep remembering a lot, whenever when I have to make some difficult decisions or, when I have to deal with people. So these are very important advices that I've got.
And thank you so very much for sharing with us more about those who've mentored you and a few of those anecdotes as well. But let me ask you that how is it that you approach mentorship or supporting the development of future women leaders, especially when it comes to the Indian tech ecosystem?
Absolutely. I think, that was one thing I truly missed while growing up. I didn't have role models of women. There were very few, and they were probably not even accessible for someone like me. So there was always this craving of oh, how I wish there are a lot more role models, lot more women in this ecosystem. And that naturally led me to becoming a mentor and doing something for women, whether it is within my organization or within my company or outside, within the India ecosystem or even worldwide, right? It's a global problem, not just pertaining to AMD or India, or it's something that has to be evangelized and changed completely. So I do take mentoring women, potential women leaders quite seriously. I do that within AMD, cross teams as well. I mean, I have mentored a few women and women leaders in China and Taiwan, and now I do a lot of mentoring within the company. And then there are a few organizations that I volunteer, where I talk to students to inspire them to take STEM education and talk to them about career opportunities in the semiconductor industry and so on. But it's also something, a journey that has to continue, and more women have to join the movement. That's something that has to continue.
Well, taking that point forward, in fact, sir, I'd like to ask you that how do you view the semiconductor talent ecosystem, especially when we talk about India? And what kind of specialized skills do you need that are required for someone who's aspiring to join the industry, especially our viewers who are watching this series? I'm sure they would love to know.
Absolutely. So semiconductor ecosystem has kind of surfaced as one of the important sectors in the recent past. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about chip shortage and how India is investing into the semiconductor ecosystem. And finally, for us people like me who've been in this industry for 25 plus years, and always it was always a tough thing for me to explain to my family or extended family on what I really do. I was either clubbed under IT or coding or software or maximum testing, right? So finally, now it's truly something that we all feel we are here at the right time, at the right place, given the emphasis that the whole world has to the semiconductor ecosystem. Given that the entire world is really looking at achieving self-reliance in this sector, India has a distinct advantage. That is the talent, right?
Right.
The vibrant talent pool. I mean, we have millions of engineers who graduate every year. And then, I've been fortunate to be the chairperson for the talent building committee that was set up by our Minister of State, Rajiv Chandrasekhar. And that gave me an opportunity to really look deeper into the ecosystem in India, the talent availability, where are the gaps? And I got an opportunity to work with 13 other eminent leaders from the industry, academia, and also government. And then we put together a report that actually looked at every sector, the requirements and the supply and demand and the gaps. And happy to share that truly speaking, we don't have a gap in terms of headcount. We have 500,000 engineers graduating, and engineering, electrical engineering, electronics engineering, computer engineering, all these graduates can enter the semiconductor industry. That is, if they're interested in the design. But there
Right.
is also a lot of talk about manufacturing, and manufacturing requires slightly different skill sets. It's not just engineering, but there are also diplomas and technicians, operators that where the training programs are being set up for the fabs to come up. So there is a lot of good opportunity in India. There are a few gaps as well, which the government of India is completely committed to fixing those gaps, and the implementation committee is now implementing all this coursework. And VLSI now is a major in many of the universities. I believe there are about 300 plus universities that are now offering VLSI as a major. So, I would say to the young students out there, I mean, hardware design is hugely challenging, hugely interesting. There is no bigger excitement than holding a chip in your hand that actually something that you have designed. So, come on over to the semiconductor industry, great career opportunities, and I know you will never regret your choice.
Well, we truly do hope that a lot of our young minds listening in join the semiconductor industry, and this conversation is somehow going to encourage them to be a part of the game changing industry, as we say.
Yes.
But thank you so very much, ma'am. It has been such a pleasure conversing with you. But before I let you go, we want to have a little bit of fun with you in this special segment, which we call the rapid fire round, where you literally have seconds to choose either or. And are you ready for this one?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so let me start with an easy one. What is it that you prefer? Is it the Bangalore special coffee, or is it cutting chai?
Coffee, Bangalore coffee anytime.
I had a feeling you're going to pick that over our cutting chai. Nevertheless, let me head to the next one. Is it me time or time with family?
Time with family.
What do you prefer, movies or television?
Movies.
Ah, okay. So no binge watching there for you, is it?
No, I do that also, but I love the experience of watching a movie in a theater.
Okay, what are your weekends like? Is it going to be long naps or socializing out and about?
Lot of housework to catch up, and if time permits, yeah, some socializing. No naps.
Well, I think I almost know the answer to this question. What is it that you prefer for that perfect business meet? Will it be a business suit or the most elegant sari?
Of course, sari. I never miss a
Well,
chance to wear a sari.
I so agree. Thank you so very much for being here, for joining us, and for really bringing out some fantastic smiles. It has been amazing to have this conversation with you, and here's wishing you all the luck. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful having this conversation. Enjoyed it.
And to all our viewers, it's been a pleasure hosting the Cutting Chai Stories for you right here. I'm Isha Bhalla signing off and requesting you to join us for our next segment in this very interesting series.